Let's walk through the process of building your speaking business.
How'd you do that?
I see that success is not something you pursue, it is something you are.
So the first process to building your speaking business is number one, you figure out how the heck do you get on stages. That's number one. Process number two is you crystallize that system into the right system for your business. So now you go from, how do I get gigs to I crystallize it into the system. Here's how I get gigs. That's process number two. And process number three is you're executing nonstop. First, you're learning new information on how to do it. Then you're taking that information and applying it. And finally, you're taking that information and you're executing, you're implementing like a madman. So how do you know what stage you're in? Well, you know that you're in the first stage when you're like, what the should I do? So when you have absolutely no idea what you should be doing, that's when you're in the first stage. That's when you got to collect a ton of information and you're just like, how the heck do I do this thing? Basically, you wake up and you're like, what should I do today? You keep asking yourself, how do I get gigs? That's when you know you're in the first stage. This first stage is more about you getting information, you getting training from other people on how to do this thing. To get out of this stage, you got to make a decision, a real decision that says, forget this hobby, it's now going to be a business. I'm no longer building a hobby, I'm now running a business. You make a decision. So the second stage is where you know exactly what to do, and now it's just a matter of doing it right. So you start asking better questions at this stage. I mean, you start asking things like, do we actually need this thing? Should we be doing it like this or should we do this? So it's like little details in this stage. So it's kind of like, well, I used to have a phone conversation with people, but do I actually need to have that conversation before they sign the contract, or should we do it after they sign the contract? It's little details like that. This stage is where you're working out the kinks in your system. This is where you want quantity, not quality. This is where you're like, okay, our system is this with the emails. So let's just send out a ton of emails and let's just figure this out. So you have the system in place. Now you're kind of working out the kinks. And the way to work out the kinks is to do it in quantity. You're focusing on the experience. You're like, I want to get the experience at this point. And the third stage, the final stage, the executing like a madman stage, this is a stage where you get up and you just get to work. When you're in the final stage, it's now about, I'm going to freaking execute. I'm going to get this done. And we have the systems. We know exactly what to do. Now it's a matter of how often, how many times are we going to do it? Are we going to do it from Monday to Tuesday, or are we going to do it from Monday to Sunday every freaking day, 24/7? I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler. What? I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler. That's what it's about.